Hey there, Internet Drifters. It's Izanami-kun, and we are here finally starting RimWorld's new expansion pack of royalty. This is a cool little beginning page, and it gives you a little blurb about what's going on over here. I don't really know what all we have in store, but it should be interesting. So let's do new colony. So this video and this series, actually, I'm going to treat it as if I am completely new to the game, because I know some people out there have never really played this, and it might get a little confusing to do things that I probably take for granted as being, of course you do this, it's RimWorld. So I'm going to try to explain why I'm doing the things I'm doing. It's pretty much the big difference. So we've got the Crash Landed, Lost Tribe, Rich Explorer, and Naked Brutality. We're going to stick with Crash Landed because it is the most popular to do when you're starting out in RimWorld, and it's all around kind of the easiest of the four. I tend to enjoy doing the Rich Explorer, just because it's fun to see if I can get somebody who, didn't have much of in the way of skills and see if I can get them to survive. But that's kind of the same thing as Naked Brutality. The Lost Tribe can be fun too. There's some things that you only get in the tribal era that you can't get no matter how much researching you do later on. So that one's fun there too. But we're just gonna stick with Crash Landed because there's a lot to see. I've been told in the royalty things. We start out with silver, some packaged survival meals. You get 3 people, so that's an important thing. 3 people sharing 50 meals. That's like almost a week, I guess. You eat 2.5 meals a day. Not something that you would know starting out, but it's a decent amount of meals. You get some medicine, which is awesome. Components, which won't really make that big of a difference until later, but it is good to start out with them so that we can have a few essential electronic things. Rifle, revolver, plasteel knife, flak pants, vest, plasteel flak helmet. All of those are to obviously help out with the random raids. You get a random pet, which if it's good is good. If it's not, then it's not. I mean, whoever ends up bonding with the random pet will get a bonus. But unless it's like a big dog or a wolf or something, usually that isn't a good thing. Like if it's a cat, then you end up being like, oh, I have to feed this cat. It doesn't do anything. But, that's part of the game. You get some steel that you don't have to do anything for, and some wood you don't have to chop down. And that way you can start building right away. And then there's also the ship chunks, steel, and survival meals that are, for some silly reason, just scattered around the map. Alright, so now that we know what we'll start with, let's see who we'll start with. Oh, no, my bad. We'll choose the storyteller. Now, for beginners, it's probably best to stick with Cassandra Classic or Phoebe Chillax. They're both pretty decent at not ramping things up too crazily. If you really want a challenge, Randy Random says it all. He's just super random. He will give you hard late game stuff in early game if you do him with Savage or even really rough. But we're not going to do that. We're going to let's start with Phoebe Chillax because she is really the nicest one of the 3. Cassandra's kind of in the middle. She's the way things were intended to be played, but we're going complete noob here, and we'll go peaceful to start out. Now, obviously, that's not going to stay that way. But as it says, you can change these settings at any time. And we will. Now, down here, the reload anytime or commitment mode, I tend to do the reload anytime. If you really enjoy not being able to reload your save, sure, go commitment mode. I don't recommend doing that right off the bat, but some people really enjoy doing that. And then there's merciless mode, which, as it says here, everything is just insane difficulty. I don't think I've ever played merciless mode, to be honest, and I've played like thousands of hours. So I don't recommend it, but that's not the way I play games. Some people, merciless mode is awesome. And one day I think I will try it just to say that I did, but not this time. Let's see, what world do we want to create? Let's be super boring. I always do 50%. Generate. And here we are. Whoa, there's some new stuff here. Okay, so when you first start RimWorld without royalty, you'll have the Cross and Bones. Those are, you know, obviously hostile raider people. You'll have the little teepee looking things. Those are tribal people. And then you'll have little house looking things. Those are civilizations that are, you know, it's somewhere along the line of established colonies from just out of tribal all the way up to just before ship worthy. These, on the other hand, I have never seen before. I don't know what these are. It just says it's a base. Okay. Let's zoom in and see if it... I mean, it just looks like a regular old city when I'm zoomed in. Well then. Oh, and here you can see your factions. You can see who is going to immediately dislike you and who's going to not really give two shits about you. Which is good, because when you're trying to choose a place on your map, you want to choose some place that is close to somebody that maybe you might eventually can trade with. And it looks like purple and yellow and column, I guess. Purple, yellow, and column. Those are purple, yellow, and column. Those are the ones that we'll be able to trade with. And since we're going super easy, forest is probably the easiest place to start out. Oh, and you can select a random site. Marble and sandstone. Terrain is flat, though. Yeah, not digging that. I'd like to have a little bit of stone, because, you know, mining is a thing. Ooh, swamp. Beware of those places. And there's really only one place to trade with, so... Oh, well, purple, right? Purple? Yeah, purple. Oh, and be careful not to go into the tropical rainforest by mistake. It has a lot more creatures and a lot more food, so in a way it's easier, but it also has a lot more of the predators, so it's a lot more dangerous overall. I think there's even I think there might be a difference in infection rates on that map, but I could be wrong about that. I know that they do have more overheating. Or not overheating, heat waves. They have more heat waves. Kind of like the desert does. I usually like having sandstone, but I guess we'll go with limestone. Marble and granite are, in my opinion, two of the best stones to have on your map. So if you only get marble and granite, that's perfectly okay. The limestone, sandstone, and slate are really for practice so that you don't end up wasting a lot of that in gaining people's skills. So we'll go ahead and do this area. The advanced, bump that up any higher and it might perfect the performance of the video, so I'm just gonna kind of leave it there. Am I really? I thought, oh, I guess it's that one. Damn it. I always do that. Although that would be a much better map. But it's way too close. And they're friends, so we don't want to piss them off. Well, at least not right now. Maybe we will eventually want to piss them off, but we don't want to right now. I guess we'll go with granite, slate, and marble. No, because that's too close to there. There, that one's not too close. Granite, marble, and limestone. Perfect. Okay, so now we get 3 people, and we can choose whoever we want out of all of these people. And obviously we can randomize anybody that we don't like. And I'm going to say we're going to randomize both of these people because they had relations with each other. The guy had a heart condition, and we want somebody who we want people who really don't have any health conditions. He might be worth it because he's got a lot of fiery passion. So here's why this matters. So the regular ones, you can see it learns at 35%. There's no passion. They learn it, at the base level. You go up to the one fire, it's passion interested. They learn 100%, which means they learn faster than those that don't have a passion at all. Burning passion learns at 150%. That means that they are going to get up to the highest level with that as soon as it's possible for them to, like quicker than anyone else. Even if they have a lower number than somebody else. If they have burning and the other person doesn't, they will get to level 20 faster. More often than not. This becomes really important later on, because after 10, if you don't use this skill, you start losing the skill. So being able to learn it faster means you keep it with less effort, basically. So him having shooting, construction, and cooking, kind of a big deal. It might really offset this stabby right foot thing, which is definitely going to keep him from moving very fast. So we'll put him at the top of the list because I like him most, but he's really the only one we've gone into so far. I don't really like her, which is fine because he doesn't either. So we'll put her down at the bottom. Sickly child. Well, she doesn't look sick now, and she really likes medical. And Matt is her brother. I'm liking this. Okay. We can do that. And he doesn't do medical at all or social, so she makes up for the medical. Frail. No. No, thank you. Put you down there. Meh. That's a name. Okay. Lucas, I don't like addictions, first and foremost. When they drop on your map and they have an addiction, it's fine. Like, I'll just wait out the addiction to eventually go away. However, I don't, like, this is where you get the choice, right? You don't want to choose somebody who has an addiction because that can cause them to break when they, if they don't get what they're addicted to. She does have a burning passion in plants, but I think we can find somebody better. It's not gonna be Matthew. Meh. Sella. Boy, you're a bit out there for the business. 12 social. And social is important, especially early on, because if you do get the chance to capture people, which you tend to have more chance of capturing people earlier on than you do later in the game, then your social will determine how persuasive you are at getting them to join you. And so far, I like her the best. I'm not sure that I'm sold on her, but... And then this is their mother, which is weird because he's 57 and she's 34. I'm not sure how that works. Huh. She must have had him, like... She must have been in cryostasis, had him, went back into cryostasis, and then recently come back out. So I guess she didn't really raise her kids. And how is he a vat-grown soldier when this is his mother? Oh, I guess maybe they took her cells and grew him in a vat then. I don't know. It's kind of weird to try to connect these things together. Okay, well, these are the people we don't like, so let's randomize them a little bit. Dementia. No. Stuff. Really likes medical, but she really likes medical too. He really likes cooking too. I don't want to get rid of my sickly child sister. And he can't do any of the shooting melee stuff, which she really isn't going to be able to either, because, 16 and not knowledgeable. But still, I don't know, I'm a little bit partial to her. He'd be good, but I already got a medical. And you're not special in any real way. You got some social. So I guess maybe. But she's better. And then there's you. Got plants. Not super high on social, but do we have... Like, I mean, we're not... I guess he's the only plants. Where is she? Plants. And it's only a 3, but it's burning. So when starting out, in my opinion, the most important skills are plants, medical, and I would say social, but it's not even on here. I don't know why it's not on here, but it's not on here. Cooking is a little important just to keep food poisoning from happening, but not super important overall because they'll just get better. Construction, a little important, but they'll get better at it. Shooting and melee, I do think that those are something that I'd at least like to have a burning passion in and a 5 or better. But again, they can get better because of hunting. Medical is hard to get better in. You have to have one person doing medical on a bunch of people before it really starts to take effect that they're getting better. So medical, having that right out the gate is, in my opinion, really important. Or at least it could mean the difference between dying of an illness and surviving. Plants, they will get better. But the faster you can plant and harvest the crops, and the better you can harvest them without botching or getting low numbers, the more survivable your colony becomes. And having a 5 or better in plants is, in my opinion, again, super important. Which right now with these people, we do have 6. And that is him. He has a 6. That really puts a lot of stress on him to do a lot of the work. But, you know, she can still do some work. She can... I probably won't have her doing plants. She is not good on plants, really. But maybe if we need to. I think she'll probably end up being more the researcher when we get a research bench out there. Although I don't really like her either. I think I'm going to randomize one more time. Okay. So this social's a little better, but still not really. Because, I think he should get somebody that can help him with the shooting and melee. Okay. Terry looks a little effeminate. Does pretty well in social. Put him up here. Not really better at fighting, but we'll see. Whoa, no. No, thank you. Lover Kirk Downs. Kirk is actually not super bad. Still no plants. But mining, artistic, still kind of crap at those. Put him up there. And Kristoff. Well, we got medical and social. Not too bad. Okay. That in mind, she's not as cool. Or he. Right. Terry. Okay. Well, let's start off with these. Do we have a nickname for Kirk? I guess not. He's just a corporate manager. He wouldn't have a cool nickname anyway. Although as a story writer, you know, he really should have given himself something, but I don't like that his lover is not coming with, but what am I going to do? They can't really break up because they'll be away from each other. Let's do one more randomization. Maybe we'll get somebody a little bit better that doesn't have that. Wait. Another one of the relatives. How many relatives do you have, Matt? Matt and Pansy? He was a frightened child. Here we go. Nelson. Nelson will come with us. He's got, you know, a decent setup here. Kind of okay in plants. He'll get better at a faster rate. Yeah, and he can take some of the pressure off of Matt. He doesn't really have a whole lot here, but he'll be a good backup, maybe. Probably. We'll see how it works out. Okay. Now we got our people. We're finally ready to begin. And then you get the standard introductory message of why you are where you are and what you're supposed to do with that information. And boom. And pause. So now you can already see, here's some of the map goods. And before we do any of the rest of that stuff, I'll just do this. I almost always do this because if they get everything done and then start hauling that shit to the base, then it's less I have to do later on. I think that's most of it. Now, what in the fuck is this? Oh, those are the things that we saw in the Flasher series that I never got a chance to build. So it's like a monument to the dead. Horsies. I don't remember horses being a thing. So that might be new too. I'm not sure. Or maybe I just never came across them. That could also be true. Hello. Okay, so there's all these things. I know there's some button that will allow me to allow everything. Control F. I don't know. I don't remember what it was. And to be honest with you, I never really used it anyway, so we'll go with that. Oh great, our pet is a fucking rabbit, isn't it? Fantastic. Okay, now the super heartless thing. Does anybody have a relationship with this rabbit? No, nobody has a relationship with the rabbit. Then we're going to slaughter it. And the reason is, I know it's super heartless. I know, I'm such a terrible person, but I don't want to have to look after an animal that nobody cares about yet. I just don't. It's better off for everyone involved if the rabbit just doesn't exist. Now, I mean, just to be super nice, I can just say, okay, fine, let's not, and I'll put you somewhere. I'll put you up here, right? So now the animal is limited to area 1, but see, here's the thing that makes that even more heartless than just slaughtering it. It's undefended, and it's a fucking rabbit, and something's going to kill it. Like, I guarantee. There's got to be, yeah, there's a cougar, there's a warg, and a timber wolf, and a red fox. Like, one of these things is going to, and a grizzly bear. Yeah, there's plenty of things that will kill it, and it won't be so kind. Slaughtering it is, you know, they love it, they pet it, and then it's dead suddenly, quickly, humanely, no suffering. You put it off in a corner of the fucking map, and it's going to die a bloody, horrible death. So that's why I would prefer to just slaughter the thing. That way it doesn't die of starvation if I run into difficulty, and it doesn't end up being slaughtered by something that's not going to be very humane about it. So now we're looking at the map, and at first glance, if you've never played before, it might just be like, oh well, that's a lot of space. I'll just build in the in-between spaces, just wherever. That's, you know, it's a huge map. But when I look at it, I see this is shit, this is shit, this is shit, this is the only buildable spot. And the reason why I see that is because of these little patches of rich soil. You can see down here at the bottom where it says stuff. This is rich soil, and these are huge patches of rich soil. Rich soil is rich, like it's going to help grow your crops a lot better. So setting up your base around the rich soil is much better than the regular soil, or even worse, stony soil. I think there's more than just those, but those are the basic ones. And then there's little patches like this, but I'm like, I wouldn't want to build a plantation on top of a few tiny ones. But I might later on try to use those for, you know, spot plants, like if I just need a little bit of something. Now, also when I look at the map, I see defensible positions and non-defensible positions. So down here, this is actually really hard to defend because it's really open down here, which sucks because that's got a lot of rich soil down here. And that's got a lot of rich soil down there, or over here, but not very defensible. So I'm probably going to build around this one because I can easily confine myself by doing a wall there, a wall up here, and a wall down here to where I'm only worried about things coming in from this direction. And then I can probably build sort of like funnels to make it to where people have to go into a trappy area. This one I can probably enclose too. It'll take a lot of stone to build that wall, but it'd probably be worth it because that's a pretty big section there. So based on that information, my base starting out is going to be here. And the reason for here and not here is there's a lot more rough stone that I can smooth out, which people really like the smooth stone. I think it's the highest worth floor in the game. I can dig all of this stuff out and make bigger rooms and do whatnot with it. And it should also be relatively easy to build walls in here. So we'll start with a stockpile zone. This would be a good place too, honestly. But it's too far away from the crops and stuff just yet. When we have roads, you know, we can spend some time building roads, then we'll worry about being able to expand to other areas of the map. And the very first things, you won't haul. What will you do? You will not construct. Why did I think you were useful? Oh, because you'll plant and stuff. Okay, well then I'll give him something to do by doing that. Oh, you'll slaughter the animal too. Cool. Okay, so now they will do their stuff. Oh, I should probably equip them with stuff. Why aren't you harvesting? Okay, so here's another... Oh, there's the knife. Here's another thing. So down here at the bottom, there's all these wonderful things that will help you, blah, blah, blah. This is your factions. You saw that on the world map. This is your quests. No, this is your history, which tells you how much wealth you've got. And that becomes an important thing because you get attacked with worse stuff the more wealth you get. This will take you to the world so you can see your position on the planet. This will give you the quests that you come up with, which we don't have any. Most of what you will interact with is in here though, on a daily basis, on a moment-to-moment basis. Research doesn't matter until you have a research bench because you can't research anything until then. It used to tell you needed a research bench when you came into here. Harp. That's a new thing. Wildlife tells you what is available on the map, which you may have noticed when I was looking in here. These little things says that they're a predator. These numbers will say how likely it is when they're attacked, whether or not they will become manhunting, which anything in a nearby vicinity also then becomes manhunting. And if they're at 0, that means that you can attack one of them and their pack never really cares. It'll just run away. And then you can choose from this menu whether or not you hunt them or you try to tame them. Which taming also goes by the same rules as if you were attacking them. So they still have that chance of becoming a manhunter by you trying to tame them. Be nice to them and they might still kill you. Then there's animals. That's what animals you have. We don't have any anymore because Tanya's dead. A sign is going to show you different things that your colonists are assigned to, like current outfit. For instance, I had him wear the flak jacket, flak vest, whatever, and I just cleared his force. So if he wanted to take it off now, he can. He won't, but if he wanted to, he could. Food restrictions, I can set them to anything. I can even edit what those particular food restrictions even mean. And then the drug policy, which same thing as the food. Oh, and the outfits do the same thing, where you can decide what this means, what anything means. I can say, no, anything does not mean a t-shirt, or it does, whatever. So those are important. Restrict, I always make them anything. That way at any given time, if I need them to do something, I can have them do it. And they won't try to sleep on me or decide that it's not in their job description to work at that particular hour. And then there's work. And this is the one that might be the most important, but it's the hardest in my opinion. So there's two ways to do it. You can have this way, which is automatic, I think, I guess. And then manual. Automatic goes from right to left. So if this is checkmarked and this is checkmarked, they will firefight before they research. If this is checkmarked, they will firefight before they doctor, but then they'll doctor before they research. Pretty easy to understand, right? If you do manual priorities, then you get 1 through 4. As it says over here, priority 1 is done first, 4 is last. So firefighting is always important. You want to keep your place from burning down. Being a patient, as it says here, you'll, not continue working if you're about to die. Doctoring, which is important because you don't want people doctoring unless you intend for them to increase in the skill or if it's necessary for them to do so. So Matt can't, so I can't even bother with his priority. Nelson can, but I don't want him doing it on the regular, but I want him to be capable of it. So I'll put it as a 4. So it's the absolute last thing he does. So if we have a huge colony and everybody's fucking sick and Pansy is just swarmed and there's no other doctors, Nelson will step in and help after he's finished with all his other tasks. Or I can, make him help. You can't make them do anything that you haven't set them on this priority thing to be capable of doing. Then there's bed rest, which I have a lot of difficulty with. I feel like it should be a little bit more specific. Instead of do or not do, there should be a how bad is my injuries kind of, are they severe? Well, then bed rest. Are they bruises? Well, then don't. Right now, I'm going to put them at 4 because you can always make a medical bed and then just tell them to rest, and they will if it's at 4. Basic stuff I set to 3 because it's normal. It's something that probably needs to get done, and this might be too low for basic, but we'll see how that works out. Wardening, you want that at 1 because if you have a prisoner, you don't want to accidentally forget to feed them. Plus, this also makes sure that they will try to recruit or chat with the prisoner to reduce their resistance to being recruited as soon as they're capable. All right, then there's handling, which everybody seems to be a little bit interested in, but nobody is as qualified as Nelson. So we'll put him at top priority. Cooking, again, top priority, but he has a 6 in it, so I'll put it as his top priority too, which means he'll probably do more cooking than Nelson, which is good because we want him to gain the skill. But if we wanted, say, a higher skill level kind of food that Matt can't cook yet, Nelson will come in and cook that when he's able to. There's hunting, which I don't think Pansy does any real hunting, so we'll put that at 1. I don't right now because of the whole potential raid situation. I figure Matt is more valuable as a melee fighter. But when we get other people or when we get better stuff, I'll probably switch him over to shooting. He has a pretty high stat in shooting. It's not huge. It's not a really high stat, but he has burning, and that's kind of the thing. But he's kind of 9 in melee. And he's crap at shooting, so he really shouldn't be doing anything. So I'll probably have him hunt too. just to gain up in the skill. He does construction. Far as necessity goes, that's more of a 2. And actually we'll put everything at 2s. That way, if I need something to be done right away, I can just come in here and change it and make it a 1. And then it'll happen before everything else. Plant cutting will not do. Really? I thought she was a plant person. Oh, right. She won't do it because I don't have her set to do it. Duh. I don't want you cutting, but I do want you growing. And we'll take her off. Important thing. We will take her off of grow when the plants are already planted so that she doesn't try to harvest them when they're at 100%. Because if she does, she's going to botch and waste the harvest. I'll set you to mine. And right now we need them to do those 2 a lot. Cleaning, it doesn't seem like cleaning should be important, but it really is important to make sure that your people clean. It affects their mood. So it doesn't really say anything about that, but it'll affect their mood if it's too dirty around them, and if they're sick. Like if they have a cut or whatever and they're laying in a room that is too dirty, it increases their likelihood of them getting an infection, which at this stage would potentially be fatal. And then the last one is architect. The last of these bottom things. The last one is architect. And this is a whole mess of stuff that I will go over in the next video, because I think this video has probably gone on much too long. And there's so much to go on. And like in architect, there's just so much to explain. It's, you do like, I want to say 80% of the things that you do with that bottom bar is going to be straight to architect. So next video, we will explain that and try to get a little bit further in base building. I might do some base building on the Patreon channel, because the beginnings of bases, it gets kind of boring and repetitive. But I'll make sure that there's enough explained before I do that it's not really missing, that nobody's missing out on any of the content. So that's it for this video. Thank you for watching. If you haven't subscribed, go ahead and do so. Like if you like the video, and I will see you guys next time.